This short presentation will discuss how to install and troubleshoot a Powerline network using the Plaster network adapters and its built-in tools. Although these adapters really are plug-and-play and can simply be plugged in and used without any further intervention from the user, anyone desiring more information while installing and using the Powerline network is invited to view this presentation and use the tools discussed below. To start, let's look at the best configuration for your Powerline network adapters. Although different configurations are possible, we recommend that the PLN3 adapter connect directly to the router closest to the modem providing internet access. In some situations, your cable or DSL modem will be combined with the router, but the setup still remains the same. Plug the PLN3 adapter directly into a wall socket and it will power up and obtain an address from your router. Once this happens, it will form a Powerline network with any other adapters that share the same password or network membership key. All HomePlugAV adapters ship with the same default password, and we will cover how to change that later in this slideshow. The AV200 Powerline adapter should be plugged directly into a wall socket anywhere you desire an internet connection. Once plugged in and powered up, it will join the network with a matching password. How to secure a Powerline network is a common concern. As just mentioned, you decide which adapters can associate with your network based on passwords. The ability to set passwords on each adapter will be covered shortly, but what this means is that even if you are in a multi-tenant situation where you are sharing wiring, the networks you set up can be distinct. As far as data and information transmitted along the Powerline network between adapters, Plaster Networks uses the same 128-bit advanced encryption standard that the NSA has approved for transmittal of top-secret information. Plaster Networks adapters can be used with any HomePlug adapters from any manufacturer, but keep in mind that our adapters are manufactured to the HomePlugAV standard for high throughput and low latency. So best performance is with other HomePlugAV adapters. The older HomePlug versions such as HomePlug 1.0 and HomePlug Turbo are compatible, but will not allow for the faster throughputs found in the HomePlugAV and AV2 standards. So now that we've discussed a little bit about the background of Powerline networking and how to set one up, let's talk about the administration tools that are available for you to use to administer and manage your Powerline network. There are two available through the PLN3, and they are the embedded PLN3 administration console and the advanced Powerline monitor. Let's start with the admin console. The administration console provides a single point for you to administer and manage your Powerline network. You can access it by simply pointing your browser at http:// followed by the plnid.local. The plnid is the 6-digit number that is visible on the top and sides of the adapter. Let's step through each tab that you can access from the admin console, starting with the Dashboard tab. The dashboard that comes up by default shows you network status in the upper right and tells you how many nodes or adapters you have connected. In addition, a table is populated with performance statistics for each adapter. In this case, we have the simplest network of 2 nodes consisting of the PLN3 and a single AV200. The throughput rate to and from the adapter are displayed in megabits per second. You can have as many as 64 adapters on your network, and they would all be listed in this table with their performance metrics. The next option in the dashboard view is to provide the same table, but with packet count between the nodes rather than data throughput rates. The final dashboard view queries the switch status of the PLN3's 2 Ethernet jacks and displays their connection status, connection speeds, and the duplex modes at which they are transmitting. The next tab on the console is the configuration, and the first menu item is the change name form. The PLN3 generates a list of all available adapters, including itself, and provides an editable field for you to enter a new name. Most people prefer to enter more meaningful names such as the adapter location or what it's connected to. The next option in this tab is to change passwords. This is where you would change passwords to define which adapters were going to be able to communicate along your network and which ones were not. The PLN3 generates a list of all available adapters that it can communicate with, including itself and any foreign nodes, and provides an editable field for you to enter a new 16-character password. In order to update or change any adapter password, you must provide the device password that is printed physically on the adapter itself. The only exception is for the adapter that you are directly connected to via its Ethernet jack. Turning our attention to the final tab on the admin console, you will see adapter settings with the first option labeled Software Update. By default, the adapters are set to automatically accept firmware updates that get released by Plaster Networks, but this toggle allows that option to be turned off. Similarly, the remote diagnostic setting that permits the PLN3 adapter to send network performance to the Plaster Network service is enabled by default, but can be toggled off using this remote diagnostic screen of the admin console. For more advanced networking applications, you may want to specify certain adapter settings such as IP address, address mode, subnet masks, or a default gateway. These options can be set using the IP address option of the adapter settings forms. Simply fill in the fields with the custom settings you want and click Apply. The final option provided by the PLN3 admin console is the ability to require a login and password to access the admin console itself. Use this option to prevent unauthorized users from making changes to the network and any of the settings we just reviewed. That covers the embedded PLN3 admin console for administering your Powerline network, so now let's turn our attention to the diagnostic toolset that's included in the adapter. This will help us troubleshoot and optimize Powerline networking. This toolset is called the Advanced Powerline Monitor. The tool was designed to give real-time reports of adapter performance in the form of interactive time series plots. These can be used to troubleshoot network issues and provide real-time feedback on how effective any corrective action has been. We'll see a simple example of that once we get a bit further into the tool's description. To access the tool, you don't need to install any new software. You just simply need a browser such as Opera that supports scalable vector graphics. Point that browser at http:// followed by the PLN ID, and follow that with .local/apm.html. Once you do that, you will see a plot of current throughput rates over time for each adapter in the network. Down the left frame of the plot is the legend listing the focal node and all the peer nodes on your network. Data rates to and from each of these peer nodes is color-coded in solid and broken lines. Solid lines for data rates to the node, and broken lines for data from the node. Clicking on any PLN ID in the legend will promote it to the focal node and redraw the plot accordingly. Clicking on the zoom controls on the timeline allow you to view more or less history ranging from 1 minute to as long as 1 day. A similar plot can be requested to monitor the traffic path between network adapters by pointing your browser at http://plnid followed by .local/atm.html. This will bring up the Advanced Traffic Monitor. As you can see, this tool plots the traffic in packets per second passed to and from every node in your network. Again, the legend down the left side lists the single focal node and all its peer nodes that are being measured. The same interactivity is provided to adjust the focal node and the timescale as desired. This next slide illustrates the use of the Advanced Powerline Monitor to identify and verify corrective actions taken on a troubled network. In this case, a noisy power supply was plugged into a socket and had a dramatic impact on the throughput rates for the entire network. In this case, an IX2 noise isolator was employed to contain the noise from this power supply and allowed the PLN3 network processor to condition and tune the network back to previous performance levels. So that concludes our brief overview of the tools provided by the Plaster Network's PLN3 adapter to help troubleshoot and manage your Powerline network. However, there are other resources available online for you to access anytime should you need more information. Please visit support.plasternetworks.com for more product, technical, and support documents, as well as support notes and release notes.